Yeah. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Sport Intellect Live. And so today I'm here joined by Abel. How are you, Abel?
I'm good, Sanki.
So, first let's talk about India in the Under 19 World Cup final. So, how do you talk about their performance from yesterday? Actually, they were outstanding, just a dominating win in the semi-finals. And what more do you want going into the finals?
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge win, huge positive. India makes to their fourth consecutive World Cup finals. So it couldn't have gotten any better as in the way in which they played, the in which they imposed their authority on Australia. That it just shows, champion teams how are they made and how is their mentality going into a big game like that. They did lose early 2 wickets, so it was up to the captain and vice captain to steady the ship. I have to give credit to Sheikh Rashid and also Yastul. What a terrific partnership that was, because that partnership is what took India to that score of 290. And moreover, you have to give credit to the finishers as well, because the way in which most of this Nishan Sindhu and the keeper batsman, if I'm not getting his name, the way in which he came and also finished his innings for them, 20 runs of 4 balls, just speaks volumes of the mentality, the kind of confidence that partnership gave into the dressing room as well. So once they scored 290, it wasn't going to be possible for Australia to chase, because one of the highest chases Australia has ever done was 253 in under 19 World Cup, and it was a mountain for Australia to climb. And the Indian bowlers, especially the likes of Vicky Hodgson, Angrekar, Ravi Kumar, these lads were absolutely top class as well. So it was a combined effort altogether, and clinical nonetheless.
Yep, and talking about the batting of India, in the first 25 overs, they just had 86 runs, and the next 25 overs, they went for 204 runs, which is
Yes.
massive. To get that partnership from Yashtul and Sheikh Rashid, that was outstanding, actually.
Yeah, you have to give credit to both of them, because in the way in which Yastul and Sheikh Rashid understood the situation, that's where, they're just 19-year-old, and the way in which they showed maturity and understanding the situation, that was terrific from them, because you have to give credit where it's due, right? And Sheikh Rashid's one of the biggest quality over there was he was the one who took the charge, and Yasdul was giving that you know he was rotating the strike, he was partnering him, he understood he had to play the anchor. But then you saw the shift again. It was Yasdul who took the charge, and Sheikh Rashid was playing the anchor. So it was a good one. It was a good and well timed partnership in terms of the accelerator and the anchor, and they understood their roles pretty well, and that's what I'm so happy about. And that's something which speaks volumes about their maturity, their game awareness, and the quality of players they are. Because in games like these, it's more the mental aspect which comes into play more than the skill aspect. If you look at the opening stand, they did not stand for so long. It was they were 20 odd when they lost their first wicket, and there was a beauty from Salesman which nipped away and took the off stump of Angresh Raghuvanshi, and that's something which you can expect in this kind of under 19 World Cups as well, because there are some really quality players, and you have to give credit to the players who really play well. So I'm happy with the way in which most of the players played, especially the way in which the ballers also stepped up. They understood that even it's 290, but the intensity at which they ball from the first over, you have to give credit where it's due.
Yep, and so there's a small talk, actually. Uh, other teams actually play against each other to play India in the final of under
Yeah.
19 World Cup. This is being a trend, actually, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
you have seen it. It's
Hmm.
going on for the past few years. And what are the chances of India clinching another title?
Well, India clinching another title. Well, the chances are really good. Chances look very bright as of now, because the way in which this team started off the World Cup. Let me just give you an overview, right? The way in which this team started the World Cup, it was a clinical performance against South Africa, but then amidst the World Cup, they were hit by COVID and couldn't have got any worse. And adversity brought the best out of them. If you look, other players stepped up when they missed their captain and vice captain. The two players who played really well yesterday were in their most of their World Cup. Sheikh Rashid, Yasdul, they were all out. And this is when they actually needed the other players to step up. And that's when the bench strength came into the fold as well. So credits to them for that. Though you might say they played lesser opposition than the likes of Ireland, Uganda, but then adversity can literally, distrust the team, and they could go down hill from there on. But then this team showed really good confidence in stepping up, playing some clinical performances, especially against Uganda. The 405 was terrific. Raj Bawa and Angrej Raghuvanshi again. The partnership was one of the elite partnerships of this tournament. Though you can say the opposition was a weaker one, but you have to give credit where it's due. 405 is never an easy or a mean feat in any one day matches. In any one day match, you need to play really well. And if it's under 19 category, you have to give double the credit for it as well. So credit for Raj Baba. He's also one of the stars to watch out for because the way in which he showed composure and Angrish Raghuvanshi, I'm a big fan of his. The way in which he shows composure, he has a lot of time in the ball as well. You can understand a player from the way in which he is at the crease. He looks like a very composed and a settled player. He's very young. He's just 16 years old, so he's a huge career ahead of him. I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, the new rule is that he cannot play another under 19 World Cup. He's still fit to play another under 19 World Cup in 2024. But who knows? In 2 years down the line, he could be in the reckoning for the senior team. So good luck to him. And it looks like a well-oiled machine coming to the final. So the performance against Australia would have given them a lot of confidence, mainly because Australia is a very good team and they were one of the contenders for this World Cup. And that performance which they put in yesterday just speaks volume of the confidence they will be carrying into the final. The momentum is on their side. They'll be coming up against the English side, who had a very topsy-turvy kind of a World Cup semi-final against Afghanistan. If you look at that match, half bits of the match was with Afghanistan and the other half in England, and it was about who held the nerves better. So England is also coming off a really close game, but India is coming off a dominating victory. So I'll give that edge to India for this match in the final.
Yeah, but actually, we got to talk about one team, that is Afghanistan. Actually,
Yeah.
actually credits to them, because actually no one expected them to go through to the semi-final and play against England. Actually, they had the upper hand in one half of the semi-final. They were
Mhm.
actually looking to win the semi-finals. Actually, even I
Yeah.
thought at one point of stage, actually, I thought they were going to win it. And suddenly,
Yeah.
England, you saw Ryan Ahmed coming in, picking up
Yeah.
the few
Yeah.
wickets in that over. It changed the game
Yeah.
completely. And
Absolutely.
that was actually the one over that changed Afghanistan's fortune altogether. And
Yeah.
if not for that over, Afghanistan was actually through to the finals of an under 19 World Cup. That would have been great to watch. But
Mhm.
England, hats off to England for pulling that win off.
Yeah, I mean, great captaincy from Priest to give Rihan Ahmed that penultimate over, and he delivered. And what a baller he has been. He's been one of the finds of this tournament. I'm sure that England cap is not so far away from him because the way in which he was bowling, it just showed he has nerves of steel, isn't it? Because to bowl the penultimate over to two set batsmen in the crease, they had a very good time against Salesman. Salesman was bowling that 46th over, if I'm not wrong, and he gave away all close to 20 runs in that over. And from there on, England were in the back foot, so it had to go to that. To go to the spinner in the 19th in the 49th over, it just speaks volumes of how much trust you have in that spinner. And he delivered. He picked up 3 wickets in that over, brought the momentum completely to England's side. He just finished the match off in that over, and it was England all the way. But then Afghanistan, if I have to talk about them, credits to them. It's their second consecutive under 19 World Cup semi-final. Last time around, they played that World Cup semi-final in New Zealand as well when in 2018. No, it's not second. It's a second time, not the consecutive one. Second time around in 2018. Also, they played that World Cup semi-final, and you saw so many young players coming out of that batch, like some Mujibur Rahman, etc., and Zazai. So these lads are, now almost getting that position in world cricket where they have the future. They have a good present golden generation of players as well. So, I expect them to, make some big strides in international cricket, especially. Unfortunately, they did not make the strides in that recently concluded T20 World Cup, but in the one in Australia, I'm expecting them to do well. It might not suit the kind of the bowling attack they have, might not suit them, but then, maybe the 2023 World Cup, which will be played in India, the 50 over one, expect them to do well there at least. So they're a team in the team which are progressing pretty well in world cricket in all forms. Let it be Test cricket, let it be the one-day cricket, T20 cricket, and also the under 19 level. So it just speaks good volumes of the supply system they've got as well. And I'm sure that in a few years' time, you can expect Afghanistan to be one of the top five teams in the world itself because of the bowling they have, because of the skill they have in their bowling, especially. For example, Noor Ahmed, he's one of the players to watch out for in world cricket. I'm expecting him to take down the world like how Rashid Khan has, because he's got all the skill set. He's a Chinaman bowler, a very rare commodity in world cricket currently. If you look, there are numbered bowlers who are Chinamen who are really successful. You can take Shamsi, Kuldeep Yadav. who else? So, you can talk about the Sri Lankan spinner as well. So, other than that, very few ballers have got that skill of Chinaman and to have the control as well, which I see Noor Ahmed. He has already played multiple leagues, the likes of PSL, he's played PSL, he's played BBL, he's played the Sri Lankan T20 as well. So, altogether, Afghanistan is a good team, and there's someone to watch out for, and especially some of the players are very impressive from that squad.
Yep. And coming back to the Indian team, who has impressed you the most and who could earn a huge IPL contract? Like it's that time of the season actually.
Oof,
The
that's a tough
the
question.
auction is here, and who
Yeah.
could earn that huge IPL contract?
Well, right now, if I have to tell, or if I have to ask you the same question, you will be you'll be in a spot of bother because the talent is such that all the players have done equally well throughout this World Cup. There is no standout performer for this Indian team. You can say Agresh Raghuvanshi did well, Raj Baba did well. Vicky Oswal is a player who has been standout. If I have to pick one standout player, it's Vicky Oswal. And one thing which has impressed me the most about him is he's got a high arm action, the control he has in the ball. He looks like a left arm spinner India should invest upon, and I'm sure that the aggressive mindset he's got is ready to flight the ball, and he's got the variation which skids along as well. So altogether, a raw material, but if he is trained even better, he could be one to watch out for, not just in IPL, in world cricket itself. And Vicky Oswal is definitely a pick, but then Rajwardhan Hungarekar, he's a player for me who's going to get the biggest IPL bid. He's a fast bowling all rounder. He's got the pace, he's got the Yorkers, bounces, and let it be the big hits. If a team is going to invest in him, it's going to be a long term investment, and the returns are definitely going to be there. I don't know how he's going to make this shift to the senior level. IPL is definitely a big tournament. The pressure is high, the stakes are high. So we don't know how he's going to take it up, but the character he's showing is, I've heard a lot of interviews of his. He seems to be that chill character who likes that challenge, who likes that extra bit of pressure on him, and he likes to deliver under pressure as well. So Rajwardhan Angarekar is a player for me who's going to get the biggest, probably the biggest buy. He's going to be the biggest buy from this under 19 setup for sure. And other than that, Yash Dul as well. He looks like a player for the future for India. He's got solid technique as well. He knows how to play under pressure. His back foot game is top notch. A player whose back foot game has always been good has gone on to do well in international cricket. Let it be the likes of, for example, Shubman Gill. He had a very good back foot game, and he went on to do well. And he was one of the catalysts in that series win in Australia as well. So I'm expecting Yash Dull because his cut shots were absolutely class. That's something which I noticed because in India you predominantly see players who are front foot dominated and how they play in the front foot. That's a common sight in India, but it's very rare you see a player playing cut shots like the way Yash Dul played. It just shows that how strong he's on the back foot. He's ready to pick the length early and get onto the back foot, especially spools as well. So he'll be a player to invest upon. So Yash Dul, Rajwardhan Hungarekar, Vicky Othel. Expect these players to be the three big buys in IPL.
Yeah, if I had to make a choice, actually, I would go for like all the players in these in the squad actually would earn big contracts here actually.
Yeah, someone like Raj Baba too. He's also all
Even,
rounder.
even
Yeah.
Ravi Kumar, he
Ravi
was a
Kumar is very good. So most of these lads will be playing a Ranji Trophy towards the Under 19 World Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about in the red ball format. So that's going to be a test for them. But before that is the big auction, right? So the eyes will be on the big auction as to who's going to be the big, who's going to fetch that big IPL contract as we've seen in the past, like the Shubman Gills, like the Yashasvi Jaiswals, Nagar Kotis. And even if you have to talk back, 2008 was when the under 19 team won that World Cup, and we saw the likes of Virat Kohli, Jadejas, Manish Pandey make their impact in their IPL straight away, and that was one of the successful batches who went on to represent India in a good time. If you look at Siddharth Kaul was there, Virat Kohli, Saurabh Tiwari. So after that, one of the best batches who went on to do well for India has been a 2016 batch, who did not win that World Cup, but if you look at the names from that World Cup, they are the current stars, right? Ishan Kishan, Rishabh Pants, they're all IPL impact players. Avesh Khan, Washington Sundar. So 119 team players have always gone on to do well in the recent past. And 2018 team had Prithvi Shaw, Shubman Gill, then you had Nagarkoti, Shivam Mavi. So so there are talents, and from 2020 team you saw Ravi Bishnoi, now make the senior cut as well. So under 19 players will be fast tracked even more than domestic player because the way in which they perform in a world stage, it really speaks volumes, and it really shows their character as well as to how they can make the transition and play under pressure. So that's where selectors do go for these under 19 talents, and they look to fast track them, ASAP. If they have a very good IPL, then you expect them to be in India reckoning in a couple of months' time.
Yep. Playing in the under 19 level for national level in the under 19, actually it gives experience for further going into the
Yeah,
senior team, actually
yeah,
giving them the pressure situations and performing for a country, representing the country actually gives them extra experience. And that would actually help them in the future when playing for the senior team. So that will be a consideration
yeah,
for the coaches as well. And let's talk about the Indian team now. Uh, Four players are affected by COVID. We can see
yeah,
Rutraj Gaikwad, Shikhar Dhawan, Shreyas Iyer, and Navdeep Saini, and three support staff as well. So,
yeah.
how will it affect the team balance at the moment?
See, in the modern day and age, COVID has become the norm, isn't it? Now, I can't think back as to how the world was before COVID, and now it has become the trend. Every tournament, every sporting league, every team has been affected with COVID. Let it be around the world. If you talk about Premier League, the teams have been affected with COVID. If you talk about any international team around the world, they've all been affected with COVID. And for the lucky side for Indian team, these players were tested positive whilst they were doing their quarantine and not while they were doing their practice sessions. So the chances of spreading or chance of forming a cluster goes out of the picture right now, and hopefully it has gone out of the picture because the last two tests which were carried out showed no positive results. So that's a good sign for India. Now, if you have to talk about the balance of the team, definitely it's going to leave some holes, especially the likes of Shikhar Dhawan, who was giving India really good starts in South Africa. He's going to be missed. He's an experienced campaigner, and his shoes are definitely tough to fill. Now, who are the replacements, right? You've got Mayank Agarwal, who's been drafted into the squad, and today Ishan Kishan, who was already with the squad, as KL Rahul was not there in the first ODI, he was kept as a backup wicket keeper. If Rishabh Pant was injured, there was nobody to keep. So the selectors and the management asked Ishan Kishan to be alongside the squad. So in case of any injury or any adverse situation like we have now, he could be drafted in. So right now he's been drafted into the squad as well. So the question is how much will it affect the balance? Now you have a tough decision to make as to who will open the batting. Is it going to be the likes of Mayank Agarwal who's going to open the batting, or is it going to be Ishan Kishan who's going to be given that freedom to go out there and express? So it's going to be a choice for Indian team and Indian team selectors to choose as to who will be the opening pair. So that's the only position where I believe that there's a spot of bother. Other than that, the middle order looks fine. There are also backup players like Shah Rukh Khan, Rashid Dhawan, who's also in the standbys. So that's not a big problem for India right now that they'll be losing out on players like they did in Sri Lanka tour. So I believe it won't affect the balance drastically. Just the opening slot is where they might have to find a solution, and they might have to find a player for at least one game.
Yep. And actually, talking about Ishan Kishan opening the batting, so would they go for the left-right combination, and or will they go with Mayank and Rohit opening the batting?
I would
So,
prefer Ishan Kishan to open the batting just because of one reason. Very simple. He's been with the white ball squad for a very long period of time now. He's spent time with them. He's been around, and he's a perfect player. He's got that license to go out there and express, and he can probably win you a match. If he plays for 20, 30 overs, you know that the game is in your balance because he's an impact player, isn't it? The kind of aggressive starts he can give for your team. He's a terrific player. He's a match winner, and left-right combo is definitely a useful thing because in modern game people tend to underestimate these tactical points like left-right combo, not bowling a left arm spinner to a left-hand batsman. Why do these come into play? These come into play because his boundaries are so short these days, and Ahmedabad is a bigger ground, but then having someone like Ishan Kishan, he also made his T20 debut in the same ground, and he had a terrific game against England last year around in the same ground. So it'll be a good, happy memories for him going into this ground. And you have someone like Rishabh Pant playing in number four, and I'm hoping that Surya will be starting as well. And and if this is the case, Deepak Huda will also be getting a debut cap. So expect India to be slightly a new look side. You'll have Siraj in your bowling attack, and I'm more keen to watch who's going to be playing as spinners. For example, if you don't know if it's going to be Kulcha or is it going to be Washington Sundar and Chahal or Ravi Bishnoi itself. So it's an interesting choice for interesting headache for Indian selectors and Indian captain right now. So whom should they include in the 11? And if they have a good team and if they have a good combination, which is going to do well for another another 6 months or so, they might have to build a. If they want a good 11, they might have to start building from this series. So this series becomes so much more vital because the countdown for the World Cup has already begun now. It's just 1 year away, the big World Cup, which is the 2023 One Day World Cup. So they might have to lay the impetus as to who will be your core of 20 players from whom we can choose from the pool of 20 at least. They will have a pool of 20 which will be decided in the next couple of series at least. And from there, they will pick and choose and give other players chance leading into that World Cup. So it's so important for these players to be tried out at least. I feel bad for Ruturaj Gaikwad because it's such a talent, isn't it? He's done so well in the IPL. He's done well in the Vijay Hazare. He was almost on the verge of making his one day debut at least. So unfortunately, he's going to miss out on this series, and hopefully that he'll get a chance very soon. You don't know what format he's going to get, but he will hopefully get one very soon.
Yep, and actually opening with Ishan Kishan would actually like give him the freedom. All the field is inside.
Yeah,
Give him freedom, go for it. Like just the way how England plays and
absolutely.
England opens in the ODIs. You've seen it. They just
Yeah,
go for it. And they make the opposition feel so bad. Actually, we saw them
yeah. You
against
never know.
India.
This could be a future. Maybe 3 years, 4 years down the line, this could be your future as to Ishan Kishan's, Prithvi Shaw's. So it's worth trying right now itself and seeing where it goes. So, as you rightly pointed out, the kind of brand of cricket these players bring into the table is so much more interesting to watch. And Ishan Kishan is of that school of cricket where you're always in front of your screen. You want to see what's going to happen the very next ball. That's the same case as when Rishabh Pant comes to bat. They're all from that school of 2016 Under 19 Cricket World Cup. As our show is based on the Under 19 Cricket World Cup, it was Rishabh Pant and Ishan Kishan who was opening the batting back then, and Ishan Kishan was the captain of that team. Ishan Kishan not at the best of the World Cups, but then the player he has transformed into a few years later, and it speaks about his character, the talent he has got, and he's made the transition to a senior team as well pretty well. I'm hoping that he gets consistent chances so that he gets to play and he gets to prove his talent.
Yep, and what is your starting 11 for the white ball format, like the white ball series?
As I mentioned, for the first one day, it would be Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Virat at three, Rishabh at four, Surya at five, six will be Deepak Huda, number seven will be Deepak Chahar, number eight, I will give Washington Sundar, just looking at the balance of the team. Because India would want that batting depth, and Washington's at number eight. I would have Yuzvendra Chahal at nine, Siraj, then I'll play one more fast bowler. It could be either of Siraj and Avesh or Siraj and who else is there in the squad? I think it'll be Siraj and Avesh, if I'm not wrong. Siraj and Prasidh Krishna as well. And Prasidh Krishna is a good bowler. He's done well. The last match he played, the third one day against South Africa. So I think Prasidh Krishna will get the go ahead, especially in the one days, and maybe you might see Avesh Khan in the T20s. So Siraj and Prasidh and Deepak Chahar is your three pacers alongside all rounder and Deepak Hooda and Washington Sundar just to give the balance and Yuzvendra Chahal. So this looks like my 11. What about yours, Sanki?
Yeah, obviously Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan opening the batting, and Virat at three. Four, we got Surya Kumar Yadav or Rishabh Pant. That is there as flexibility. You can change
Yeah,
Surya Kumar Yadav and Rishabh Pant. And Deepak Huda at six. At seven, we got Deepak Chahar. Now he's been looked up as the bowling
yeah,
all rounder, giving
yeah,
extra batting. And obviously eight, it's actually a confusion. You go for the balance of the team, or you want to go for the betterment of the bowling. You want to pick
yeah.
Kuldeep and Sahil together. So it's
It's
actually a
tempting.
confusion to go for
Yeah,
Washington Sundar or Kuldeep and or Washington Sundar and Chahal. I guess Chahal is going to be a starter for us. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure Chahal is going to start for us. But
yeah.
Washington and Kuldeep is going to be a confusion for me any day because it's
If
going
Kuldeep
to.
could offer a bit more with the bat, then he could start any day in the team. Right now, he's coming off an injury, he's coming off a surgery. Same thing with Washington Sundar is coming off COVID, but he had a good Vijay Hazare Trophy, mind you. A month ago, he led Tamil Nadu to the final with his all-round heroics throughout that tournament. He was up there with the wickets and also with the runs. So I would be tempted to start Washington Sundar, but is he my second spinner? That's definitely a doubt. He's not yet proven as a spinner, a wicket taking option, but he's a player who gives balance. I would play him in the Jadeja position at seven, but make him my second spinner, it's still a doubt. So, yeah, as you said, I'll be so tempted to go to Kuldeep
Yeah,
just
but
looking at.
can
Yeah,
back yourself up with Deepak Huda actually.
yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah,
is wrong. You can just back yourself up with Deepak
yeah.
Huda. And
Deepak Huda is not a bad bowler at all. He's done well. He's picked up wickets in IPL, and he's got that. And I've seen him ball in the domestic cricket as well. So he's got that variety as well. He's a good off-spin bowler who can control the rate from at least one end. So I won't mind if Deepak Huda is there and Washington Sundar, but Kuldeep and Chahal is the most tempting option, isn't it? Because they've done so well. Their record as a duo also is very good. And you want to set a trend now going into the 2023 World Cup, as I already mentioned. So, a pair which would go to 2023 World Cup is going to be Kuldeep and Chahal. That's what I believe. So, and the World Cup is going to play in India as well. So, you can expect the spinners to get a lot more purchase. And this is where these both can be really lethal.
yeah,
And if you
they
talk
will
about
have to go with three spinners, maybe Jadeja in the
yeah,
if
yeah,
is
I
off the
won't mind
series.
that as well because once you're playing in India, you can afford to play with three spinners and two pacers, and you can have an all-rounder at number six. So Hardik is fit. The balance again changes because Hardik has been such an important player of the squad. People do not realize that because people say right now, okay, he's been there, he's taken his position for granted, he's not delivered as people would want him to deliver. But if you look at the balance of the team was revolving around Hardik Pandya, when did Kuldeep and Chahal's duo got split up? They got split when Hardik got injured, and that's where we have to give that's why we have to give credit to Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder, the dynamics he brings to the team. He bats at number six. You have an extra fast bowler, and you can still play three pacers, two pacers, and Hardik Pandya becomes a pacer and three spinners. That's a really good balance, right? Going into a World Cup with three spinners and two pacers and Hardik Pandya, that gives you a whole other level of balance. And now, if you're talking about without Hardik Pandya, you will have to go with four spinners likely if you have to play Jadeja, Kuldeep, and Chahal, or it is just Jadeja and Chahal. So Jadeja's bowling credentials in one-day cricket and white ball format hasn't been the best. Let's be very honest with it. His bowling average is somewhere around 59 in one-day cricket in the recent past, and that's not a good bowling average at all for a spinner. And that's where India might have to be very, very conscious about whom to play and what is the balance they should be having. That's why they tried investing in Venkatesh Iyer, but Venkatesh Iyer did not look the cut like what Hardik Pandya is, or probably another fast bowling all rounder across the world. If you look at all the teams who have done well, they've got a fast bowling. You've got James Neesham, you've got Ben Stokes, all these teams are Marcus Stoinis. These lads are so vital for every team because these lads are the ones who provide balance for your team, and these lads are the ones who really help the team to play the right balance. Because right now, in one day cricket, people don't realize the importance of playing a balanced squad. People say, why aren't you playing five ballers? Why aren't you going all out packing? What if on a day you're four down? You have seen that in the past. You've seen that in Australia. Why? I don't have to take you long ago. I'll take you to the 2020 end that Australian tour which India made. Who were the two players who gave India the stability when India lost wickets? It was Jadeja and Hardik Pandya. And they both came into the picture really well. They both were gelling around well. The number six, number seven was providing India those crucial runs as well. So I personally feel these both will be the vital cog, especially in one day cricket. For T20 cricket, I will differ. It won't be Hardik Pandya who will give the balance, but then you can still try someone like one Venkatesh Iyer and see how where it goes. But for one day cricket, you need Hardik Pandya, no doubt. You need Hardik Pandya, or you need a new bowler, new fast bowling all rounder who can really change the dynamics of Team India, who's as effective as Hardik Pandya.
Yep, true. And actually, I guess that's it for today about Team India. And anything you want to add on to decide?
Well, I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited for the World Cup final now because we're just one day away from it. We are already on the fifth now. It's 5th of Feb. It's on fifth, so we're already fourth today. So we're just one day away from the World Cup final. I'm pretty sure both the teams will be going into that final on even grounds because World Cup final is a different game altogether. Whatever you've done in the group stage, leading into that game, it's all different. It's all forgotten now. It's that one game, and who plays well, who's able to control the nerves better, will go on to do well in that World Cup and clinch it. And England is a damn good squad. Let's not underrate them at all. Though the bias will be towards India because we all are Indians, we support our team, and the history also says that India has been the dominant force in this World Cup. But that was the case in 2020 World Cup as well, right? India lost to Bangladesh. Who expected that? And India went to that final, defeating Pakistan by 10 wickets, and everyone was like, "This is the favorite team." You had a terrific team in 2020 as well, but then let's not underestimate any team. I'm sure it's going to be a cracker of a game. Many stars are going to emerge out of this World Cup as well. And I'm also looking forward for the IPL auction. Definitely, we'll be joining you, and we'll be also joining you tomorrow after the World Cup to give the reaction, how it goes. I hope you all stay tuned for that. And football action as well. We're just 2 weeks away from UCL and a lot of sports, man. A lot of sports. That's where Sport Intellect is there to give you all the latest updates, all the latest news, podcasts, lives. So follow us on YouTube, subscribe us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram as well. Sport Intellect will be there and we'll be coming up with some exciting stuff. So I told you we'll be coming up with someone special through the course of Westindies series. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching and tune in for more later on.